More than 2 million people have been sent back to Mexico under the law since it was invoked by the Trump administration at the start of this pandemic. Julian Castro is the former mayor of San Antonio, as well as former U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and joins me now. Julian, as always, it's great to talk to you about this stuff. What are you expecting to happen on Wednesday?
What I'm expecting to happen is that cities like El Paso, these border communities, are going to see a much greater influx of migrants who are seeking asylum in the United States. And this is a result, essentially, of the bottleneck that Title 42 created. This large group of people who have been waiting and waiting and waiting, who have oftentimes, while Title 42 was in effect, tried to claim asylum in the United States, but were summarily sent back, not allowed to make that claim. Title 42 was always bogus, and finally a court of law found that, and that's essentially why it's being lifted. But we're going to see, by one count, by one estimate, for a certain period of time, perhaps up to 14,000 migrants a day.
Wow.
And that's a heavier influx of people. And, you know, essentially what that means is that the United States has to be prepared. The Biden administration says it does have a plan to address this. It has been investing at record levels in Border Patrol and the ability to process people. And we're going to see that system is going to get tested. And those communities on the border, like El Paso, are going to feel the influx of people. No question about it.
So do you think that's going to be a sustained entry on a daily basis, or is it because of that bottleneck that we're going to be seeing 14,000 essentially asylum seekers crossing the border, and eventually it will begin to trickle off?
Oh, I think it'll trickle off eventually. Now, how long that will last, I do think there has been quite a bottleneck. It is going to go on for some time. But the Biden administration has said that they have spent a lot of time preparing for this. It's not like this has been unexpected. This has been held up in a courts of law for quite some time. So I expect to see that the influx is going to be much heavier than usual for a time, but eventually trickle off.
So how do cities prepare for this?
Well, the reason that Mayor Leeser in El Paso declared that state of emergency was principally because declaring a state of emergency for a city often allows you to tap into state and federal resources that wouldn't be there if you weren't under a state of emergency. So it'll allow them to tap into more resources. Also, oftentimes to do things like expand the number of people that can be put into a temporary shelter. Under that state of emergency, you can put more people in there than you would be able to under normal conditions. They want to be able to do that because, as you read, as he pointed out, they're concerned for these asylum seekers who are going to be on this side of the border, and they don't have anywhere to go, many of them, right away. And so you'll find some of them sleeping on the street, being unsheltered. El Paso and other border communities want to be able to get them sheltered as soon as possible. That's part of the reason that they're doing this state of emergency.
Let me read for you this analysis by an immigration policy analyst. His name is Ruiz Soto, telling NBC News this. Our, quote, U.S. immigration system is designed to deter Mexican immigration. As migration flows become increasingly hemispheric, it is clear our immigration system is outdated and significantly ill-equipped. What do you make of that, Julian?
Oh, I think that people on both sides of the political spectrum have recognized that our immigration system is not working. And attempts to do comprehensive immigration reform have failed over the last few years. The last time that we had a real shot at passing comprehensive immigration reform was 2013. It got 68 votes in the United States Senate. It got some Republican votes, but then Speaker Boehner would not allow it to go onto the floor for a vote in the House, and so it never came to pass. We haven't been anywhere near as close to getting comprehensive immigration reform done since then. My hope is that in the years to come, beginning with Dreamers and codifying DACA, that we will get to comprehensive immigration reform and fix this system that's not working.
Julian Castro, thank you for joining us on this, and happy holidays, my friend. Great to see you.